listening to A Scary State, and this week we're talking about Minnesota. So, Lauren,
It's Kenzie.
let's get scary.
You want to see what I'm going to do?
No, I said, you know what I'm going to do.
Oh.
Because I figured
Yeah.
I preemptively, I was like, well, I'm going to do it. And then she's going to be like, I knew you were going to do that. So I just instinctually like, oh, you already know what I'm going to do.
I figured.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought you were going to surprise me even more.
No, it's going to probably be the same the next time we come around to Minnesota again.
Oh, absolutely. But it's going to be so far in the future that no one's going to remember.
Ideally.
Or they're just going to listen to all the Minnesota episodes and be like, oh my God, does she do anything else?
Yeah, for different states.
Yeah, exactly.
Switch it up. Anything new with you?
I don't think so. I don't have much new things.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Like, I went to a barbecue for a coworker who's moving, so it was like a goodbye barbecue. And everyone was getting there, and like it's all people I work with,
Mm-hmm.
and they were all like, "Oh, like what have you been up to? What have you been doing?" Nothing. At the time, I was currently watching 4 Dogs,
Right.
which was both lovely and exhausting all at the same time.
Well, yeah, I don't know how anyone could do 4 dogs.
Well, there's 2 of them that live in the house.
Well, yeah, but I mean, but for the whole week, you were watching all 4 of them.
Yeah. I mean, they were easy. It's really only nighttime was the issue. Because we got to figure out how to fit all 4 of us in the bed.
Which is so cute.
Oh, it was adorable, but also like miserable at the same time.
I just know before you went, you were like, oh yeah, I'm going to find a way to have all 4 of them sleep in the bed with me.
And I did.
You did?
The last 2 nights.
Oh, it was only the last 2?
Well, so typically what happens is we all get up there, and then I told you I was reading Harry Potter. So
right.
I'd go up there and I'd be reading a little bit before I would go to bed. So the dogs would already be asleep. So by the time that I go to sleep, usually one of the dogs would jump off and she would sleep somewhere else.
Oh.
And then she would come in the morning. And if she came too early in the morning, then she would sleep on the bed until it was time to actually get up and feed.
Cute.
And then I would come back upstairs and go back to bed.
Oh, yeah.
So
I haven't had my daily nap. Well, not daily, I guess weekend nap. I haven't had it yet, and I just love my weekend naps.
You can do it after this.
I probably will.
Honestly, after this, though, we might as well just go to bed.
I know. It's already going to be bedtime.
Given what time it is.
Because, yeah, it's Sunday. Gross.
Yeah. So, exciting. When Dad and I are going to Florida, and we're renting a Jeep.
Oh, that'll be so fun.
Yeah.
You can have the top down and everything?
I assume so.
I would hope so.
Yeah. I don't know what we're doing. He doesn't know what we're doing.
Just along for the ride.
Literally.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting going like just during the week too.
Yeah.
Which I guess like people do regularly for vacation if they go for a week long.
Yeah.
But like it's just the week. It's
right.
not,
you're not having any of the weekends.
Right. So maybe that'll make things cheaper. Doubt it.
It's Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I don't have any desire to go to any parks or anything.
I was just going to ask.
I don't do roller coasters, so it's
You don't, so that kind of takes away some of it.
Yeah. The last time we went, my sister and I just like got in line to get pictures with all the characters, and I think my dad was pissed.
Oh.
So I'm like, don't buy it because I'm not going on a roller coaster.
I do like roller coasters. I haven't been on in a while, though, because with COVID, that shut everything down. And I didn't go to anything after COVID because, I don't want to touch all the things after, COVID made you scared to touch anything. And then I just haven't gone around to go into an amusement park.
I also loved roller coasters.
Then you had a head injury.
Then I hit my head, and roller coasters didn't love me back. And I was like, okay, well, if this is going to happen every time I get on you, I should probably stop.
It's a good idea.
It sucks to because it's, there's a lot of things that I don't do because I'm afraid to do it.
Yeah.
But this is one of those things where I'm like, I'm not doing it for safety reasons. That's so annoying.
I know.
I want to go on this roller coaster.
Responsible.
I love roller coasters. I had just really gotten into doing upside down roller coasters, and I felt so proud of myself for being able to do it. And I fucking hit my head. And now I'm just not worth it.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you at all.
I don't know if it would make me dizzy or anything, but it's just not worth trying
not
it.
worth, yeah. Ew, no.
So, I guess there's nothing else. I can't think of anything that would have occurred.
No. We do have an update on my 4th of July case.
Oh, yes.
With DeAndre Cotrell. Not much of not much of an update, but on the day that we recorded, an article was released in
Yeah.
2025, which Mackenzie found, which is like really convenient. But yeah, it wasn't there when we recorded. It was there after we recorded.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of the same. They don't
Yeah.
have any updates. It was just kind of like, I guess, letting the public know that they were still looking into the
Yeah,
case, that
that's
the
what it sounded
family,
like.
that the family's still trying to find answers.
Yeah.
And they're still asking if you guys have any information to reach out to those numbers that we have in our 4th of July.
Show notes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yes, those.
All right. Well, then you want to get into Minnesota?
Yeah, and doesn't Minnesota have the World of America, Mall of
Mall?
America? That has the roller coaster. Look at that amazing segue. I want to go there one day, though. Not for the roller coaster, but just for the whole
I've
fact
been
of
on
it
the
being the
roller
mall.
coaster in there.
Oh, have you really?
Mhm.
Was it fun?
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah.
I want to go one day. And Joe loves the Timberwolves, and that's where they are up in Minnesota.
Sure.
Minnesota. So yeah, I'd like to go. Okay, our notes. The U.S. Dakota War of 1862 was a brutal 6-week conflict between the Dakota Sioux people and white settlers, fueled by broken treaties and starvation among the Dakota. Tensions exploded in August 1862 when 4 Dakota men killed 5 settlers, triggering widespread violence. The war ended in a decisive U.S. military victory, but the aftermath was especially devastating for the Dakota. Over 1,600 Dakota women, children, and elders were imprisoned at Fort Snelling in squalid conditions, and 38 Dakota men were hanged in Mankato, the largest mass execution in U.S. history, after rush trials. In 1863, Congress voided all treaties with the Dakota, seized their land, and forcibly removed survivors from Minnesota, effectively attempting to erase their presence from the state.
So just like the numbers of like, I know it said like they ended up executing 38 men, but like before that, so trials were held for like a little over a month in 1862. It was conducted by the military and 400 some odd Dakota men, and 303 of them were found guilty and sentenced to death. So
Oh my
originally it
gosh.
was 303. And then President Lincoln reviewed each case and commuted 265 prisoners, but allowed 38 of them to still be executed. And it says trials were deficient in many ways, even by military standards, and the officers who oversaw them did not conduct them according to military law.
I cannot say I'm surprised.
The defendants were not given defense attorneys to represent them, and no one explained to the defendants the proceedings either.
How history repeats itself.
I know. And that was people who were here first.
Right.
So I just like, with numbers like that, I'm like, that's crazy. 303 of them
Yeah.
would have, it's nuts. On June 15th, 1920, 3 young Black circus workers, Elias Clayton, Elmer Jackson, and Isaac McGee, were lynched by a white mob in Duluth, Minnesota, after false allegations of rape. Despite a physician finding no evidence of sexual assault, rumors quickly spread. A mob estimated at 10,000 stormed the jail, beat and dragged the men through the streets, and hanged them from a light pole. Photographs of the lynchings were made into postcards,
My
revealing the
God.
chilling normalization of racial violence. Although some participants were charged, only a handful served short prison sentences. This horrific event shattered the myth of Minnesota as a racially tolerant northern state.
Oh, yeah, I kind of forgot for a second we were up in the north.
Yep.
Ugh.
That was like a lot of what I kept seeing, like like when I was looking into each of these like events and stuff, was that, especially for that one, it was like, oh, it's Minnesota, it's the north, like,
Yeah.
what. But originally it was 6 men that were
Mhm.
arrested. 3 of those 6 men were lynched and killed. And then I guess like they sent in the National Guard or whatever to protect
Jeez.
the last 3
Yeah.
from being murdered, essentially.
Ugh. Minnesota often ranks highest in quality of life measures, education, health, income, particularly for white residents. However, it simultaneously suffers from some of the worst racial disparities in the country. This contradiction is known as the Minnesota paradox. That's not a great thing to have named after your state.
Nope.
These disparities are rooted in decades of institutionalized racism, including redlining, discriminatory housing practices, over-policing in communities of color, and unequal access to education and employment. The murder of George Floyd in 2020 by a Minneapolis police officer reignited global conversations about systemic racism and exposed deep, long-standing wounds within the state.
One website I read was talking about like all the great things, like Minnesota being one of the number 1 places to live, but truly it being for white people. And
Yeah.
it was named one of the worst, if not the worst in the country as a state for Black people to live in.
That's shocking.
Right?
That's shocking. You
Yeah.
don't picture that for Minnesota.
And like, not to say it's the people necessarily, but obviously there's a lot of historical practices that have yet to be fixed.
Mhm.
But yeah, even now they're saying that, like, it's one of the top for white people and
Right.
truly, like, the worst state for a Black person to live in.
Is it a red state or a blue state?
I don't know. I
Hmm.
think it's maybe both, given depending on what's going on.
Hmm.
I'm not sure.
Interesting.
Purple?
A purple state,
A
there we
purple
go.
state? I'm not sure. I think maybe a little bit of both. I think right now it has a Democratic leadership,
Oh, okay.
I think.
Hmm.
So, I don't know. My turn.
Yeah.
Sorry. Dred Scott was an enslaved Black man who lived for a time at Fort Snelling, a U.S. Army post in what would become Minnesota, a territory where slavery was technically illegal under the Missouri Compromise. Scott sued for his freedom in 1846, arguing that his residence in free territory had made him free. So he was originally brought to Minnesota by his master, owner, whatever, for lack of a better word. And so, but he's like, oh, but they don't have that there.
Right. Okay.
This shit gets crazy. His case reached the U.S. Supreme Court, which, in its infamous 1857 decision, ruled that Scott was not a citizen and therefore had no right to sue
How is he not a citizen?
because Black people weren't considered citizens back then.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
The court also declared that Congress had no power to ban slavery in U.S. territories, effectively nullifying the Missouri Compromise. This decision pushed the country closer to civil war and remains one of the most reviled rulings in American legal history. Yeah, I think it's the Wikipedia page on this. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was like Black people were not considered. They were trying to end slavery, yes, in some states, but they still didn't consider them citizens. So,
Jeez.
yeah.
Ugh. In the summer of 1934, the streets of Minneapolis were a battleground as Teamsters Local 574 led a massive strike demanding union recognition and fair wages for truck drivers and warehouse workers. The strike was marked by fierce clashes between strikers, police, and private security hired by employers. The most infamous confrontation, Bloody Friday, occurred on July 20th. Oh, that's
Soon.
7 days from when we record, when police opened fire on unarmed picketers, killing 2 and wounding dozens. The brutality galvanized public support for the workers, ultimately leading to union recognition and major labor reforms. The strike became a turning point in the American labor movement, but it also highlighted the violent lengths to which businesses and government would go to support worker rights. To suppress worker rights.
There you go.
When I first said support, I was like, wait, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the U.S. government established boarding schools across the country to forcibly assimilate Indigenous children into white American culture. Minnesota was no exception, with schools like Pipestone Indian School and others targeting Dakota, Ojibwe, and other tribal nations. I'm so sorry. Children were removed from their families, often under duress, and forbidden to speak their native languages, practice their religions, or maintain cultural traditions. Many suffered physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. These schools aimed to, quote, kill the Indian, save the man,
Oh my God.
erasing identity and fracturing generations of Indigenous culture. The lasting trauma continues to impact Native communities in Minnesota across the nation today.
So, with you not being able to hold words in your head, I was trying to say some word to mom the other day, and she kept saying it and adding other like consonants and like sounds into it. And I said, "What are you doing?" And I kept trying to say it. Oh my God, I was dying laughing because she just could not get it. I cannot remember the word that it was, but it was so funny.
I have trouble also saying the word conscious.
Conscience.
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 See, if I think too much about it, then I'm going to start saying it wrong too.
Yeah, because I want to say conscience because that's what it's called.
Yeah. My conscience is telling me.
Yes.
In the late 1800s and early 1900s, Minnesota played a key role in the traveling circus circuit, where, quote, freak shows were common entertainment. These shows exploited people with disabilities, rare medical conditions, or physical differences, parading them as oddities for profit. Cities like Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Duluth hosted circuses that profited from human suffering and humiliation, often binding performers into restrictive contracts. While performers like Anna Haining Bates, the Minnesota giantess, were sometimes admired, they were often treated as spectacles, not individuals. The circus legacy of Minnesota reflected a broader, unsettling history of commodifying human difference.
So she technically wasn't from Minnesota. She was from Nova Scotia up in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
But to make money, that's what she did.
Right.
By the time she was a teenager, she was 7 feet tall.
Oh my gosh.
So she had gigantism.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that.
She did get married.
Oh.
Tried to have children, didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. But apparently she was very lovely. Her family was super supportive of her.
Good.
And just, not like oh, you're a freak. Like, they were very, yes, she's our daughter. She's beautiful. She's wonderful. And so she was a very good person.
American Horror Story has a season, I think it's season 4, where it's all this old-timey stuff where
Yeah.
it's the kind of freak show thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, there you go. But yeah, technically she's not from Minnesota. She just, I guess, traveled through it.
Yeah.
So,
makes sense.
one of the deadliest school shootings in U.S. history occurred on the Red Lake Indian Reservation in northern Minnesota in 2005. 16-year-old Jeff Wise killed his grandfather, then drove to Red Lake High School where he opened fire, killing a security guard, a teacher, and 5 students before taking his own life. The tragedy shocked the nation and brought attention to the deep-rooted issues facing Indigenous communities: chronic underfunding, mental health neglect, and lingering effects of historical trauma. Wise's writings revealed feelings of isolation and hopelessness, underscoring the urgent need for better support systems for Native youth.
Wow.
I never heard of this one.
I don't know if I have or not, because the name Jeff Weiss sounds familiar for some reason.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, when I was looking into it, it was like the typical, not typical, but just talking about like his background and like the things that he's had to endure and all that kind of good stuff. But apparently his grandfather was part of the police department on the reservation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So tough luck.
Yeah. The Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe were promised permanent land rights in an 1855 treaty with the U.S. government, but these promises were soon undermined. After helping protect settlers during the Dakota War of 1862, the band was still subjected to efforts by federal agents and the state to push them off their land and force them west. Land was illegally sold, stolen, or gradually lost through legal manipulation and pressure from lumber companies. Despite this, the Mille Lacs Band fought back in court and through activism and continued to assert their sovereignty today, making their story one of both injustice and resilience.
I didn't look that one up. I didn't have time.
That's okay.
But yeah.
Sounds awful either way.
Right. Once the heart of St. Paul's Black community, the Rando neighborhood was erased in the name of progress when Interstate 94 was built directly through it in the 1950s and 60s. The construction destroyed over 700 homes and hundreds of Black-owned businesses, shattering a thriving community that had provided safety and cultural connection for generations. Though residents protested, the city and federal government went forward with the project, offering little compensation. Rando's deconstruction
I think it's Rondo.
Rondo? Did I say Rando both times?
Yeah. But that's okay.
I meant Rondo. I didn't mean Rando. I meant Rondo. Rondo's deconstruction is a stark example of how systematic racism is often embedded in infrastructure and urban planning, leaving long-lasting scars on marginalized communities. Apparently, they either could destroy this town that people lived in and had set up roots and businesses, or build over an abandoned old railroad track that wasn't used. And they went with the town.
Can't say I'm shocked.
Yeah, just because it was a little bit more central.
Of course.
Yeah. So they literally had another option where they wouldn't have to displace anybody except for maybe a couple of deer and rabbits. And whatever else lives in Minnesota.
But that's too
But they're
easy.
like, no. We want it here.
Other option.
So that means that you got to go.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Minnesota.
Like we always say, nobody's safe.
Nobody's safe.
Nobody.
Your safe will be shit on. Your state will be shit on as well.
Everyone's got dark history.
Yeah.
Oh, what spooky tea you pouring, Lauren? I always get confused when you go first and you point to me. I'm like, no, bitch, you go first.
So, as it always seems to be, the place I will be talking about is known to be one of the most haunted locations in all of America.
All of America?
All of America.
Wow. So not just the state, but the country.
The country.
Damn.
Yeah. The Palmer House Hotel.
I hate hotels.
The Palmer House Hotel is a historical hotel located in Sauk Center, Minnesota.
What?
Sauk Center, Minnesota. And it's spelled S-A-U-K, but it's pronounced Sauk.
Interesting.
Yep. I looked it up for everyone who might come at me. It is Sauk. At least the websites I looked at. On June 26, 1900, a fire shook up the town of Sauk and burned down the Sauk Center House. which was the city's first hotel, but was also a brothel/saloon.
Mm-hmm.
This center house wasn't what people in the town really wanted. It hosted many unsavory characters who wanted to come here for booze, gambling, and prostitution. When the center burned down, no one in Sauk was sad. They were happy to have such an eyesore out of their town. I didn't read any of this out loud. I read it all in my head. So now saying it out loud, I'm like, oh my God, this sounds like a bad children's story.
I was just going to say, this sounds like a terrible Dr. Seuss story.
Everyone in Sauk Center was sad.
Oh my God.
So in 1901, Ralph and Christina Palmer built the Palmer House on the site of the Sauk Center House. And with its construction, Palmer House became the first building in Sauk to have electricity and indoor plumbing.
Ooh.
The Palmers lived here with their 2 children, Carlisle and Hazel, and ran the business alongside Christina's brother and mother. When it first opened, it catered specifically to traveling salesmen who had arrived by the nearby train. At the hotel, the salesmen were able to find a place to stay for the night, but the hotel also offered meeting spaces and after-hours relaxation options.
Ooh.
Locals would also take advantage of the hotel as the hottest spot in town for gatherings.
Ooh.
When it opened, the Palmer House had 24 guest rooms. Then in 1916, the hotel's second owners hired architect Roland C. Buckley to expand the building, so an additional 20 rooms were constructed.
Ooh.
But guests had to share a common bathroom off the hall.
No.
Yeah, no. During Prohibition, the basement of the hotel would sell liquor. Tunnels would connect the basement to other buildings around town to help transport liquor without being caught by authorities.
Goddamn.
I know. In 1982, it was added to the National Register of Historic Places for having local significance in the themes of commerce and social history.
Did they add more bathrooms?
I will get to that.
Okay.
Then in 1993, the Palmer House was extensively remodeled where the interior was reconfigured to contain 19 rooms, this time each with their own bathroom.
Love it.
Yep. In 1994, what you think about it, that was 1993. So if you went there in 1992, you were still sharing a bathroom.
I have a feeling not a lot of people went.
Probably not. Can you believe, too, and our New York listeners, chime in, some of the places in New York, the apartments, is just a room. The bathroom's, down the hall, and you share it with a ton of other people. The toilet, the sink, all of that.
Look, I bitch if it's not an in-house washer-dryer, so I'm not sharing a bathroom with nobody.
Yeah, no.
I did that at college.
Yeah.
That's the only time it felt acceptable.
Enough time in college, and I didn't want to do it again.
Yeah.
Where we stayed in college, so it was my little dorm area where we had 6 girls, and we shared a bathroom with another dorm area of 6 girls. There were 12 of us sharing a bathroom. The other girls would have their boyfriends or, guys come over who would, cough up things in the shower and then wouldn't clean it.
Ew.
It was so gross.
That's nasty.
Don't do that.
No.
Clean up after your snot. So
all you gotta do is just turn the water on. Rinse it down to the drain.
It didn't, though. I'm gonna keep
What
going.
the fuck were they coughing up?
It was that, but it just wouldn't go down the drain. I'm gonna gag if we keep talking about it, so I'm gonna keep talking about something else.
Okay.
In 1994, the Palmer House is also listed as a contributing property to the original Main Street Historic District. Today, the hotel is still in business as a hotel, restaurant, and pub. The Palmer House is a member of the Minnesota Hotel and Lodging Association and the National Restaurant Association. Between January 18th to 20th, 2008, the Palmer House held its first paranormal seminar, which drew in many paranormal experts.
Why?
Because they're haunted.
Why?
Because they're haunted, and I'll get to the hauntings.
You've said nothing that would lead to this place being haunted.
I know, and I will, though.
Okay.
They have also been featured on many different shows like Ghost Adventures, The Dead Files, and Chasing Paranormal. There are several different ghosts that are said to roam the halls and rooms, and all of the ghosts appear to be from different time periods. So let's get into them, shall we? So located on the top floor is the playroom. This is the most investigated room in the hotel. Guests who have stayed in rooms near the playroom usually report hearing children laughing and playing at night. They also hear the little pitter-patter of tiny feet running around. Some believe it to be the Palmer son Carlisle, who likes to play pranks on guests and staff. Guests have said after their stay that their overall stay was great, very pleasant, but that someone had let their kids run loudly in the hallway that night. There are no kids running loudly in the hallway at night.
Sure.
A staff member claimed that they had a conversation with someone who looked an awful lot like Hazel, the Palmer's daughter, right before the woman disappeared. So some of our guest rooms, we have room 4. An EVP captured someone asking for Thomas in this room. We don't know who Thomas is. They just wanted him. Room 11. So the air in this room is always cold no matter what the guest tries to do. One guest was staying in their room and had their leg outside of the blanket. First mistake, never have a leg exposed. He then felt a sensation as if someone were stroking his legs throughout the night.
I did that when I was watching the dogs, but that's because I had 4 dogs surrounding me.
Oh, yeah, you were protected.
And I was hot as fuck.
Yeah, you were protected. You were fine. This man was alone.
Yeah.
He got up. Oh, and he was alone, and he's feeling something rub his leg.
Also, if it's that cold, why do you got to stick your leg out?
Maybe he didn't have it at the time. Like, sometimes it gets really cold, sometimes it doesn't.
Ah.
He got up to look around, and even as he was looking around the room, he kept feeling that feeling on his leg.
Yeah. I don't like it. I don't even let, like, dogs, like, lick my legs. I'm like, don't.
Now it's like a little ghost, like, stroking
No
your
one
leg.
touch them. I honestly, it's a good thing that ghosts are, like, I don't know, not
Mackenzie's kicking her leg out. Solid?
not solid. The
Yeah.
opposite of solid.
Then you can't kick them.
Correct. What's that word called?
Transparent.
That's what they look like.
Translucent.
When they can go through, an object can go through them. Isn't that called something different?
I think so.
Okay, well, whatever that is, it's lucky that they can have things go through them because the moment they touch my leg, my foot is going to go up in the air.
That is true. They don't know that you're violent.
Right.
Other guests say that they have a very heavy feeling in the room and that the origin of that feeling originates at the sink.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. The room is also said to be haunted by both a cat and a woman named Annie. The cat's not named Annie, just the woman is named Annie. But there's a cat and a woman.
Does the cat belong to the woman?
We don't know.
Oh.
Those who have ended up staying in the hotel have reported hearing and can sometimes feel the cat moving around. When I stayed at Fairy Plantation House, there was a ghost cat. We heard it one time. It meowed. It was really creepy.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
But I'm not allergic to ghost cats, so that's exciting.
No. Whoop-de-doo for you.
In room 12, this room is often haunted by the ghost of the maid named Jacqueline. In room 17, someone guessed...
What happened to Jacqueline?
I don't know. She's just the maid there. She's just chilling.
Haunting the fuck out of the room?
Chilling in room 12.
Okay.
For room 17, when guests leave, they come back to the room and all of the furniture has been moved. A newlywed...
That's a strong ghost.
I know.
When you say furniture moved, are we talking like chairs and tables like moved in very obvious different places, or is it
didn't
like...
say what furniture was moved, but it was obvious enough that you're like, someone moved stuff in here.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, oh no, I had the corner of the sheet up and now it's down. No, it's like things have been moved and you're like, things are different.
Okay.
A newlywed couple was staying in the room. Why you would go here, I don't know. Actually, I would go here. But
of course you would.
Yeah. In the middle of the night, the wife woke up and saw a tall, slender man standing at the foot of the bed. He appeared to be from the 1920s or 1930s. She didn't do anything else about it.
She didn't scream? She didn't freak out?
That's all that, like, the little comment said about it. They also later complained that the room had gotten extremely hot, almost as if someone had turned the heat up as high as it could go. Another man who had stayed in this room had also complained that his room had gotten far too cold, even though he tried to turn the AC in his room off. Guests have reported hearing their names being called. One guest's sister-in-law was staying with her. While sitting in a chair, the sister-in-law had a strong feeling of sadness wash over her, so bad that she had to get up and move from that spot, and once she did, the feeling went away. Then that night, while in bed, she felt someone lay on top of her.
No.
Lucy, a woman of the night, is known to spend most of her time in this room. She is known to make sure that patrons feel quite chilly while she is around. She was also once able to make the temperature in her room drop from 65 to -1 in a 2-hour time frame.
What is she, did Elsa? That's funny. That was pretty funny.
Oh my gosh. If Lucy is seen, she is usually seen sitting in one of the 2 chairs in the room smoking.
What room number is this? Is it still 17?
Yeah, this is still 17.
Damn, 17 is popping.
The left side of her face is beaten up, while the right side is hanging off. Like her scalp is hanging off of her skull.
Nope.
Quote, she doesn't like people sitting in both chairs, so it's a good idea to leave one open for her, the current owner, Kelly, said. So
what happened to her?
She was a lady of the night, so I can only assume something bad.
Sounded like she got beat up and then, like, dragged.
Killed. Yeah. Something not good happened to her. I didn't find out what happened to her. None of the things really talked about Lucy. They just say, like, she's there, this is what she looks like, but no one knows, like, what happened to her.
Sure.
Guests who have stayed underneath room 18 have complained about hearing loud footsteps above them, even though that room is vacant. People below the vacant room 18 have also heard what sounds like furniture being moved around all night long. One couple was unlucky enough to be staying below room 18. They heard all of these noises above them, the footsteps, the furniture moving, everything. As they were checking out the next morning, they were telling the front desk about it, like what they had heard, everything. Behind them were the guests who had been staying in room 18. So they said that they had come back to the hotel late that night, then immediately went to bed. They didn't hear anything going on. They hadn't moved anything. So they weren't moving anything. They didn't hear anything, but the people below them could hear all of these weird things.
That happened a lot to me when I was in the dorm in Radford. I would hear like loud noises, and one day I got like really aggravated with it. And so I went just to the floor above and knocked on the door, and no one was there.
Ew, that's kind of weird. I think Roy's dreaming.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so cute.
Oh my God. Every night, Phil and Lucy, like dreaming.
Oh.
No, it's not. Not when they're kicking you.
That's not fun.
Yeah.
But it's so cute. When we went to the beach a couple years ago, Mom and I were staying in one hotel for like 2 nights or something. One of the night, well, actually both nights, the people above us were so freaking loud. At like 3 in the morning, they were moving things, and it was waking me up like throughout the entire night. I was getting so annoyed.
Yeah.
I almost ran upstairs, but then I was like, that's not a good idea, Lauren.
Is there any room in this hotel that's not touched by ghosts?
Well, those are the only ones that I actually have actual rooms for.
Okay.
So maybe other ones are fine.
Okay.
Other rooms will claim that their remote has disappeared and that they're unable to find it anywhere, resulting in them having to get a new remote brought to their room. One of the rooms is the origin of a legend that says that a woman simply disappeared from her room, never to be seen again.
Okay. Which room is that?
I don't know. But I think I figured it out. So, those who have stayed in this room report a feeling of overwhelming sadness. Some have often heard soft, mournful cries in the middle of the night. And so when I was reading over this to check to make sure my spelling and everything was right, I wonder if that sadness is from room 17, where the guest said that her sister-in-law felt an intense feeling of sadness. So maybe room 17, where all the other things seem to happen.
Maybe.
Then we have a Raymond's room. This room used to belong to a man named Raymond. And Ray wasn't a great guy. Essentially, he ran a top floor brothel about a century ago.
Wow.
So naturally, it is believed
Top
that
floor, that's bold.
well, 3rd floor. It's only 3 floors.
No, I know, but people can definitely hear that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So naturally, it is believed that his ghost now haunts the room on the top floor.
I wonder if that's where Lucy's from.
Oh, maybe. Maybe. His spirit is said to be full of malevolent energy. Kelly, the owner, was once in the laundry room, which is located on the same floor as Raymond's room, so floor 3. She said that she had her back turned while folding some towels. She felt the presence of someone coming up behind her. Suddenly, she felt like she was choking and wasn't able to breathe. She spoke to a psychic about it, who informed her that Raymond is very territorial of his room, room 22. So add that one to the list.
I mean, I'm not going.
Those who have worked at the hotel, some guests, and even the current owner, Kelly Freese, have all experienced a strange and demonic energy in the hotel, one that the owner believes originates in the hotel basement, which makes sense. When
Why? Because it's a basement?
Well, yeah. And also, when the Sock Center house burned down, many innocent people lost their lives.
Yes.
Though there were other sources I read that says no one lost their lives in the fire, so I don't know.
We just know that people were sad about the Sock Center.
They were happy when it was gone. They were sad that it existed.
Oh, that's right.
And they were happy when it burned down.
That was right. That's right.
One of the guests was in the basement for some reason and said that they saw a dark shadow pacing back and forth across the doorway down in the basement. The lights down here are known to flicker for no reason. There is also a snowman decoration down here that is known to dance for guests.
No.
Even when it's not plugged in. The owners of the Palmer house once had a psychic come visit for a couple of days. The psychic claimed that in the basement under the stairs there would be human remains. So the owners eventually went under the stairs and started digging. Sure enough, they found bones.
What?
So the wife boxed up the bones to show her husband. But right before she grabbed the box, there was a phone call so that she ran to go answer. When she came back, the box was nowhere to be found, has not been found yet. It just vanished.
Okay, how convenient.
It is convenient.
That's very convenient.
Guests and investigators have also reported hearing dogs barking in the basement. This may be because when the Palmers owned the hotel, their son would take care of dogs down in the basement.
Okay.
Which is kind of creepy. Another complaint among guests is a woman who walks around the hotel in period dress. She is seen all over. I knew you were going to have a weird thing to think about that.
I thought.
Oh, I know what you thought. And if people have ever listened to us before, they also know what you thought.
Why'd you say it like that?
That's how it's described. Like a period dress. How would you describe it? A dress from a time period long ago?
Just imagine a ghost. She's got this dress on, and just on the lower part, it's just red. She died having her period.
All right. A woman is seen in a dress from a different time period. She is seen all over, but most commonly seen in the pub or sitting quietly in the corner of the lobby. Workers have reported having a full-blown conversation with this woman, only to turn around and find that she has vanished into thin air.
She's asking people for a tampon or a pad.
Ghosts who stay have reported unexplained cold spots.
Ghosts who stay?
Guests who stay have reported unexplained cold spots and electronics turning on and off by themselves. There's an apparition of a little boy seen playing with a ball in the hallways. It is believed he is a little boy who died from the flu in the early 1900s.
Not Carlisle, the son?
Nope, a different boy.
Okay.
This boy is described as having green eyes and dirty blonde hair. Toilets downstairs like to flush on their own. Sometimes in my building, the toilets flush on their own when I'm in the bathroom, and it is so scary.
I can imagine.
I hate it. Oh my God. Okay. If you're in a bathroom and there are 8 stalls, say you're in stall 5. No, say you go into the bathroom and someone is in stall 5.
Okay.
Which stall are you going to go into? Are you going to go into 4 or 6?
No.
Okay, I cannot tell you how many times at work I am in just a random stall. No one else is in the bathroom, and someone comes in and goes right next to me.
Yeah, no, I would definitely.
There are 8 other ones you can choose from. And then I had another time where some lady came in and went right next to me. And then another lady came in and went on the other side of me. What are you doing? I hate it. I don't know why it irks me so much.
Well, you also have bathroom issues.
Well, I get pee shy, but I'm like,
it probably bothers you more than most.
Maybe, but I'm like, there are 10 other stalls you can choose from.
Like, I wouldn't be bothered if somebody did it, but I myself, if I walked in and someone was already in there, I would never choose the one next to them if I didn't have to.
It annoys me. It annoys me so much.
Yeah.
So much irkage. Okay. So the toilets flush by themselves.
Sure.
Silverware in the dining room will move on its own. Employees have set up the tables for the next day, only to come back later and find that all of the silverware has been moved. In the bar, the bartender helped a man get a few drinks one night. They had a little exchange, had a nice conversation. When the man left, he walked upstairs to the guest rooms. The next morning, the bartender was telling someone about the conversation and the man. Turns out there had been no one to check in or out who matched that guest's appearance.
Wonder how they drink.
Well, he brought the drink up to his room.
Oh, it wasn't at the bar.
Right. He went to the bar, they talked, he got his drink, then he took it upstairs.
Oh, okay.
People have reported feeling pushed while on the stairs, mainly on the 3rd step to be precise.
Isn't that what's his name's area?
That's the 3rd floor. This is the 3rd step.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you know
the 3rd step from the 1st floor?
I think so.
That's oddly specific.
I know. Have you heard of Lewis Sinclair?
Lewis Sinclair? The name sounds very familiar.
He's a famous author.
What did he write? Winnie the Pooh? I think he wrote Winnie the Pooh, or...
No, he definitely didn't write Winnie the Pooh because that's not the first thing that comes up. It Can't Happen Here, Babbitt, Main Street, Aerosmith, Ann Vickers. He wrote a lot of things. Or Miss Wren, Man Trap. But no, Winnie the Pooh's not on here.
Lewis. Wow, that name sounds so familiar, though.
Because he's a famous author. So
who wrote Winnie the Pooh?
Isn't it Lewis Ellis Carroll or someone Carroll?
So, similar sounds.
Alan Alexander Milne.
Not even close.
Yeah, he wrote about the teddy bear Winnie the Pooh. A.A. Milne.
Lewis Carroll wrote Alice in Wonderland.
That's it. That's who I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, so anywho, Lewis Sinclair.
Yeah.
He once worked at a bellboy at the hotel when he was young.
You said at.
Oh, he worked as a bellboy at the hotel. It is said that he was fired because he spent too much time on his writing rather than working.
Well, good thing, I guess.
It is said that much of his writing was influenced by the area, and he is said to still haunt the hotel. The hotel loves the fact that it's haunted.
I can see that.
And in 2021, it celebrated its 120th birthday with a gathering that honored both its rich history and its ghostly occupants.
I like that.
People have said that it's, quote, like the Stanley Hotel Light.
Okay, yeah.
The hotel even has a book where people can share their experiences, as well as having a whole guest experience section on their website.
Oh, that's cool.
I read those, obviously.
Sure.
And all of the guests who have visited, each one said that they would absolutely love to visit again.
That's nice for them.
So I would actually really like to visit this place because none of the ghosts seem mean except Raymond, and I'd stay away from his room and the basement. I'm not going to go into a basement of a hotel. That's weird.
Sure.
But yeah, so that's the Palmer House Hotel, one of the most haunted in America.
You let me know how it goes.
I will. Ooh, maybe because Joe wants to go visit the Mall of America.
Mm-hmm.
We go there. We stay at the Palmer House Hotel.
Is it anywhere close to the Mall of America?
I don't know. Well, now I need to check.
All the Minnesota people either laughing at you, like thinking
I
you
know.
can stay in this place and go to the Mall of America.
But when I was looking at the Palmer House Hotel, I was looking at like the location in Minnesota, and they have like this one restaurant nearby called like Ding Dongs or something. I looked at the menu. It looked so good.
I mean, if you're going to have a name like that, you got to have delicious stuff.
It looked really delicious. And I was like, ooh, I would actually really like this. It's an hour and 50 minutes away. That's not bad.
It's like 2 hours.
Yeah, you stay there one day, like in the like Palmer House Hotel, and then you take a day up at the Mall of America. Now you'd have to take a couple days up there. We'd stay there on our way up.
You driving?
In this imaginary fantasy, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool beans.
But yeah, so that's the Palmer House Hotel.
It does sound like they're all nice.
Yeah.
But no. Nope.
Yeah, I know you would never.
Mm-mm. No.
I just won't tell Joe it's haunted because I know he doesn't listen to the podcast. So
be like, this is your own fault. If you had listened.
If you listened, you would know.
Been warned.
Because he's always like, well, I hear you guys recording. And I said, that doesn't give us numbers. That doesn't count.
And right now he's not here, so he can't hear shit.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I'll take him here and he's just not going to know.
Yeah.
But then that wouldn't be good because I'd be kind of scared too. And I wouldn't want to be scared.
So you're not going to stay at the hotel?
I don't know. It would be a game time decision.
Look at you, almost big and bad.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, I don't know.
Well, because
it might be scary.
I go pee in the middle of the night and I can just picture like going pee in the middle of the night and like seeing something in the mirror or like hearing something, and that would terrify me.
It's almost like haunted things are scary.
Well, because remember that place Joe and I stayed at in Arkansas where it looked like the like room we had to enter in to get to our room looked so haunted?
Yeah, the whole vibe of that place was just creepy.
It was so creepy. Our room was kind of creepy. There was a bathtub just out in the middle of the room, carpeted. It was a whole wild thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had to be by myself because he was in the wedding, so we had to go get ready beforehand. And I was like, I'm by myself. Didn't love it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even haunted. Well, known to be haunted.
Correct. So now that you know,
Joe would not leave my side.
It'd probably feel like the same experience.
Yeah, it would.
Because now you're like, well, now I know it's true.
And if I hear something, it actually is haunted.
Right. You can't tell yourself, oh, no, it's just my anxiety.
Right. Or, oh, it's just the hotel being old and settling.
It's like, no, this place is supposed to be haunted. So that very well could have been.
That is definitely a ghost.
Yeah.
I'd stay in room like 3. Not 3rd floor, room 3. Where there's no haunted things associated with it.
Didn't you say there was something in room 4?
No. The first floor I talked about, I think, was room 7. Oh, yeah, room 4. Good call. Okay, I'd stay in room 9. Knowing me, they'd be like, we only have one room available, room 17. No thanks.
Yeah. No, could never be me.
Mackenzie, what tale do you have for us? Maybe your soothing voice will lull Roy to sleep.
Maybe. I can, baby. I would love to, but if I had a headset and I could use one of my hands to pet you and the other to scroll, I would totally do that. But I can't.
He doesn't care about your worries.
I know. Come lay down. Come on, come lay down. That was gross. Come lay down. Come on. Come lay down.
He's upset that you didn't bring him snacks today because we started later.
Bubba's, you gotta go lay down. Okay. So when deciding on a case to cover, especially when it's unsolved, it's hard because you want to give everyone their day in the spotlight. In the past, I was more focused on what had more details so I could write a longer or more interesting story.
Right.
I'm going to share these stories with you because of how little information there is on each case.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I will leave you to make your own conclusions as to why that is, but for now, the focus will be on Evelyn Adams and Synika James. Now,
Do I think we'll be able to figure out very quickly why there's so little on them?
100%.
Okay.
Um, for Synika James, I could not find a video, news, or whatever of someone saying his name. It was only just news articles.
Okay.
So I sincerely apologize if I'm pronouncing it wrong.
Okay.
I'm just going with how it's spelled.
Okay.
So it could be any variation of that,
Right.
but I could not find anything.
Yeah.
So I'm just going phonetically here. Evelyn Adams was an active member of her community in Mankato, Minnesota. The 76-year-old had volunteered with the Modern Woodman Fraternal Financial, I don't know if they're supposed to say society at the end, but it's a business
Okay.
that also does community service work, and she's volunteered for them for the last 30 years. A friend, Jim Karstens, who worked at Modern Woodman, told reporters, quote, "She was just good people, salt of the earth." I don't know what that means, but it sounds cool.
I think it's like, yeah, it's like a term for good people.
Yeah, I would hope so. At 10:50 p.m. on Saturday, February 23rd, 2019, 911 received a call describing one or two suspicious people at Evelyn's home. Then, at 11:15 p.m., Evelyn herself called 911 to report that she had been assaulted after a break-in.
Oh my gosh.
It took first responders 8 minutes to arrive at Evelyn's home before she was transported to a local hospital. A fierce blizzard was blowing through the Mankato area with heavy snow and howling winds. Sadly, on February 28th, Evelyn passed away due to the injuries she suffered during the assault.
Oh
I
no.
don't know what those are. That wasn't posted anywhere.
Yeah.
I love the name of this county. Blue Earth County Sheriff Captain Paul Barta made a plea to the public asking anyone who could help bring those responsible to justice. Barta told reporters, quote, "There are people out there who know what happened that night. We want those people to come forward." Barta says more than 50 people have been interviewed since Evelyn's death and indicated that a person of interest have been identified, but no arrests have been made. The blizzard had complicated the investigation. Law enforcement's response was slowed by the condition, and any tracks or other evidence left by the suspects was quickly wiped out.
Yeah, that's what's really unfortunate about during snowstorms and like rain and all of that stuff.
Yeah. The snow also made witness identification of a suspect vehicle seen leaving the neighborhood rather vague.
Yeah.
At first, it was described as a car, but now Barta says it could be an SUV. Investigators say Evelyn told them that the attacker tried to hide his identity by, quote, putting something over his face. One of Evelyn's neighbors told investigators that they saw someone flee from her home on foot amid the blizzard. So, unsure if there's one person or two.
Yeah. But because the first call said 2 people.
Right, one or two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When she called 911, did she say how many people had assaulted her?
It didn't say.
Oh.
I think she just said she was assaulted.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think she was sure whether or not there was one or two.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think she could tell. But yeah, and it also doesn't help too that it happened like at night. So
Yeah,
not only is it a blizzard, but it's nighttime, so it's even harder to see.
right.
Jim Karstens told reporters, quote, "A lot of people miss her. The community will miss her." The pastor at Belgrade Avenue United Methodist Church, where Evelyn attended services, says she also volunteered in the church's nursery. Dan Horn, the church pastor, said she would always come up to me Sunday morning and give me a hug. Horn and Karsten say that they aren't sure why anyone would want to hurt Evelyn. Horn said, quote, "The tragedy of this whole scenario is that it doesn't make sense. This is a woman who wouldn't harm anyone. For someone to come into her home is just strangely bizarre." Agents from the BCA are assisting Blue Earth County in what is now a murder investigation, and anyone with information on the death of Evelyn Adams or who may be responsible is asked to call 507-304-4863. And
Which will be in our show notes.
Yes. You can also report anonymously to Crime Stoppers of Minnesota. As of February of last year, the murder was still unsolved, and they are now offering a $1,000 reward for any information that could lead to an arrest of those responsible for Evelyn Adams' death.
Well, that's sad.
Yeah, I thought so too. And that was it. That was the only thing I could find on her.
Wow.
I don't know if she has any family.
Yeah.
Um,
That's wild how little there was.
Yeah. Synika James was a father of 6 children and had spent his early years in southbound Indiana before moving in with his family in St. Paul, Minnesota. He was said to have a knack for making people laugh and enjoyed cooking and going fishing. Synika had recently celebrated his 37th birthday in October of 2015. He had been especially proud because he had celebrated without drinking. He had been sober for 7 or 8 months and regarded this moment as a big turning point in his life. On October 15th, 2015, Synika and his family were attending a vigil that marked the 3rd anniversary of the murder of 20-year-old Nerissa Turner. Nerissa was shot by an alleged gang member on October 14th, 2012, while inside a parked car in an alley near Cypress Street and E. Rainey Avenue in the Dayton's Bluff neighborhood on the east side. Before Synika headed to the vigil, he got his 6-year-old nephew off the school bus. His family said he was always helping them with all kinds of things. And he went to the vigil with his 2 sisters. All 3 siblings have known Nerissa's mother since they were teenagers and wanted to support their friend.
Aww.
Odessa Turner, Nerissa's mother, told the press that this would be the last vigil held for her daughter because, quote, I wanted her to rest in peace.
Aww.
So where they were having the vigil is where she was killed.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, or really, really close to it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it's the same location.
Right.
Dozens of people had turned out for the vigil, including children. Suddenly, the sisters said that they heard a barrage of gunshots. Someone had jumped out of a vehicle and fired.
Oh my God.
One 911 caller heard up to 12 shots. Another reported hearing 10, according to Minnesota police clips. Police reported finding 2 kinds of shell casings at the scene. The only fatality was Synika James, who had been shot in the chest. According to witnesses, James lost his life because he was pushing children out of the way of the gunfire.
Oh.
I know. When police responded to the scene, they learned Synika was being driven to the hospital in a private vehicle. Clarissa James, one of Synika's sisters, said her friend drove her brother and she had gone with them. They were trying to get him help, and they stopped when they saw an ambulance leaving a fire station. Although I also saw, they saw an ambulance parked somewhere or something like that. But before they got there, they saw an ambulance and were like, hey, can you help us?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, by then it was too late. Synika James had died from the gunshot wound to his chest.
Oh my God.
He was the only fatality.
Yeah.
Sergeant Mike Ernster, a St. Paul police spokesperson, said investigators are still working hard to figure out what happened. Odessa Turner said she believed that the shooting during the vigil was, quote, some type of retaliation, something about my daughter.
Oh.
Joseph Haywood Campbell was convicted of Nerissa's murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole.
Was he arrested before this shooting or after?
Mm-hmm.
Before? Okay.
Yeah. At Campbell's murder trial in 2013.
Okay.
The prosecutor told the jury that Nerissa Turner had been worried that she would be targeted for retaliation because members of the East Side Boys gang believed she was involved in the February 2012 slaying of Dominic Neely. But Nerissa had denied any involvement in Neely's death. It was also believed that Nerissa, sometimes called Nunu, had switched her allegiance to a rival gang, the Selby-Siders. It was learned later that an old roommate of hers had started the rumor on Facebook. So it was not true. It was a rumor.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Odessa stated, quote, I just can't believe this happened at my daughter's vigil. I blame myself for what happened. We were not out there longer than 15 minutes and they came and shot the place up. Barely 24 hours after the fatal shooting of Synika James, police were investigating another shooting death of a man near Earl Street and York Avenue, which is only a few blocks away from the scene of the vigil. So this is the next day.
Okay.
And the latest incident, police were called to the Earl Street Bridge around 7 p.m. on a report of shots fired. Emmett Lee Wilson Shaw III, 24, was killed in a drive-by shooting that occurred on the bridge. Darius Calvin Collins, 22, was being charged as the alleged shooter. The driver in the shooting, Demetrius Rathel Adrian Moore, 24, was already found guilty of 20 counts related to the incident.
Oh.
During the trial, it was learned that Collins was at the vigil for Nerissa Turner. And as we know, during that service, shots were fired into the crowd and it killed Synika James.
Right.
So he was there when that happened. According to prosecutor Elizabeth Lehman, Collins was furious about the attack, which he also attributed to the East Side Boys, and was determined to retaliate. He was seen with a gun on October 14th and 15th and was heard saying that he planned to, quote, get one of them, whatever it takes. Collins was doing what he believed to be, quote, justice for what happened to Nunu and at Nunu's memorial. But this is not justice, Lehman said, calling the shooting classic gang retaliation, her words. Collins' defense attorney, John Chitwood, claimed that Collins is not affiliated with any gang and that attending Turner's vigil and posting about her on Facebook were a, quote, simple act of humanity. So I included that story because obviously, like I said, it's unsolved.
Right.
But people are thinking, well, maybe it's a continuation of this back and forth between these two gangs.
Right.
And there's this other shooting that happened the next day that was from this guy who was there. So that is just further, pushing people towards, oh, this must be a retaliation thing. They came because of whose vigil it was.
Right.
And then that guy went and retaliated against that group of people.
Jeez.
That's what they are. From what I gathered, based on how these stories are being told, I think that's what people are thinking, which makes sense, but it also might not be the whole truth. Who knows? Clarissa James said, quote, "This was a grown man that had nothing to do with this stuff," referring to her brother, who seemed to be an unintended victim in this whole situation.
Yeah, he absolutely seems like that.
Yeah. She also said, quote, "This is about kids being disrespectful and not having value for anyone's life." In the days after Synika's death, many people called the home of Diana James, Synika's mother, asking if it was true that Synika had actually been shot and killed. Chelsea James, Synika's other sister, said, quote, "They don't believe it because everyone loved him. He had a huge heart."
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. That's also why they're like, we don't think he was the intended victim. Now, there might not even have been an intended victim.
I mean, if you're saying it's based off of like gang activity, that's kind of what it sounds like.
It might just have been like a
they know this is the vigil for this girl.
Yeah.
They are beefing with like her gang or whatever, her alleged gang or whatever. So yeah, it's probably a thing where they don't care who's there.
And so I think that's why everyone was so shocked, because they're like, well, who would want to kill him?
Right.
And that's why also people are like, well, there's no way that he was the intended victim, because he had nothing to do with this. And like, that's why it was so shocking for people. The James family hopes for justice for Synika. They have asked anyone with information to come forward to police. If you know anything about Synika's murder, please call the Crime Stoppers in Minnesota hotline at 800-222-8477 or go to crimestoppersmn.org and leave an anonymous tip. There is supposedly a $5,000 reward for information. I couldn't find any articles about this past 2015.
Right.
So I don't know if that's still being offered. But there is a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of the person responsible for killing Synika. Maybe, maybe not.
But even if there's no reward and you have information, you should still come forward.
But the number to the St. Paul homicide tip line is 651-266-5650. And all the information for both stories will, of course, be included in our show notes, but just wanted to get that out there. In conclusion, there are several reasons why so little is known about these two stories. It could be lack of evidence, no witnesses or people coming forward with information, or a little media coverage for each story. Regardless of the reason, everyone's story deserves to be told, not just because it is, quote, interesting, but because everyone deserves justice.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we like to do on our show, is talk about those lesser known crimes.
Well, and that's kind of like what made me, like, I was stuck between this one and then a different one. And the other one, like, it had an abundance of information.
Right.
I noticed that it also had already been included on some podcasts. Not recently, but had been included.
Right.
Versus this, I was like, okay, this is obviously the only thing I can find on these things.
Yeah.
There is nothing else. There's no podcast. There's no nothing that has talked about them.
Yeah.
And especially with Synika James, there's nothing that I could find that has been reported about it since 2015 when it happened.
Right.
And so to me, it's pretty obvious why it doesn't have a lot of media coverage and things like that for both cases.
Guess why as well.
Yeah. But instead of, I didn't want to like focus on that, because we know that. We know why.
Right.
We know why they weren't covered in the media.
Right.
But there is also other reasons why cases can't get solved.
Yeah,
and so
that is true.
I didn't want to put blame on any one person.
Yeah,
or
no, I get that. I think that, yeah.
There's obviously a lot of things that we could do better, not just who we portray in the media and who we don't. But yeah, I figured, no one else is talking about their stories, and that's our thing. And
yeah,
let it continue to be our thing. So,
well,
hopefully maybe the same 300 to 400 people that listen to us every week might know something.
Yeah.
Isn't Minnesota one of our
Yes, Minneapolis is one of our biggest listening places, listening cities.
And there you go.
Yeah, come on, Minneapolis.
Yeah, step up. Even though I don't think either one of these things took place in Minneapolis, but
it's the state as a whole.
Yeah. It's not a big state or anything.
No, not at all.
Not at all. But yeah, so.
Well, I know it's been a long time since they had any media on them. 2015 is a really long time ago.
Yeah.
But hopefully, sometimes cases are cold for decades or whatever, and then they are solved.
And the other thing I thought about too is because for Evelyn, I did find a recent article from 2024, because it was the 5-year anniversary.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, well, even between these two cases, there's very apparent, media coverage disparities. And there wasn't any, it's been 5 years since this happened. There's been no talk about that.
And it's really sad too, if the one was primarily they believe gang related, they're not going to look into that more.
Right.
Which
That's
is what's
the
really
other
sad.
thing. If they're going to go the route of oh, well, this must be retaliation after retaliation.
Right.
What are we going to do?
Nothing.
Right.
Right.
Doesn't make it okay.
No.
People should still be held responsible.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
No matter what the reason is. Who knows? Maybe they'll get solved and we'll be able to come back. But I am not hopeful.
No, I'm not either.
Which sucks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So there's Minnesota.
Yep. Minnesota.
So like and review us. Let us know when you have
positive things.
Positive things.
Shout out to our girl, Ida May, who so kindly reached out to help us pronunciate names.
Pronunciate names?
Yep. I'm going to keep it from where she lives. I'm not going to say where because that's creepy. And that's the kind of response that we are looking for.
Yes.
Instead of criticizing, you could reach out to help.
Yes.
So, and at this point, it's our shtick, you know?
Yeah, yeah. But we try. We do what we can.
We legitimately try.
Yeah.
We just take out the part of us trying because that's weird.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to hear our 10 minutes of us going through YouTube videos and news clips to hear pronunciations.
But it does happen. We have the unedited versions to show you if you do try.
No one would want to hear that. They get so annoyed. They'd be like, do they do this every episode? Yeah, we do.
Mm-hmm. And it's gotten worse since we've gotten extra hate.
I know. Now we're more self-conscious about it, I guess.
Well, that's
more wanting to prove people wrong that we can say it right.
The lady was not nice.
No. All right, well, rate and review us. Stay scary.
Nice things and stay safe.